going on, Aries? This is going to be a reading that includes a card pull first and then the actual reading or reading afterwards. But this card is specifically from the Herbal Astrology Oracle deck, and this is by Adriana Ayales. And the card pulled is Palo Santo, and with the subtext Guardian. Gifts from past lives. This is the actual description I'm about to read now. So, gifts from past lives, activating dormant gifts, connecting to the ancestors, guardian of the sacred trickster. The ritual burning of Palo Santo, which translates to sacred/holy wood, can be traced back to the Incan Empire, where it was used in spiritual ceremonies to cleanse the body and space of malignant darkness. To this day, it is used ritualistically among many indigenous communities throughout the Central and South America, particularly to cleanse bad energy, bad air, and the evil eye. Mal de air translated to bad air, yet it is a spiritual illness believed to be a kind of cold nightmare air created by malignant spirits to enter the body, causing pain, discomfort, sickness, and many other kinds of imbalances. Incan medicine people use this wood in their religious rituals, as a tool to neutralize negativity, rejuvenate the body, mind, and spaces, bring peace, balance, and good fortune, and achieve better spiritual communication with their gods. Scientific studies show how Palo Santo can help relieve stress and anxiety, stimulate circulation, reduce joint and muscle pain, uplift mood and the immune system. It is proven to cleanse the space, dispel bacteria, act as an insect repellent. Palo Santo medicinal qualities are very plutonic in nature, as it powerfully cleanses malignant energy while being highly invocatory and perfect for strong intention setting. The Palo Santo has a long history of use as a magic wand that unlocks innate gifts and have lain dormant, inactive, or blocked Let me read that one more time. Palo Santo has a long history of use as a magic wand that unlocks innate gifts that have lain dormant, inactive, or blocked, like wisdom, intuition, sight to see past lives, to see into the past and past lives. And this is the guidance section. Palo Santo is a protective wand that grants us the power of unlocking innate gifts that have laid dormant, inactive or blocked. Palo Santo, like the fox, is here to assist you as a spiritual guide. Who helps you navigate the world, who helps you navigate the spiritual world. The Securan foxes, native to South America, nestle among the desert forest of Palo Santo for shelter, living in symbiosis with the precious trees. Foxes are symbolic of the afterlife, invisibility, the sacred trickster, and Palo Santo neutralizes the venom of darkness. Palo Santo neutralizes the venom of dark tricksters and alchemizes poison into gold, becoming the sacred trickster. Palo Santo is here to remind you to activate your dormant gifts. You are a guardian of the sacred that has walked many paths. Know that you can neutralize the greatest of poisons, even outwit the smartest of tricksters. And I apologize. First off, I promise I can read. I promise. Few things here in terms of this particular what came to mind here. One, I would say the first and most important thing is really understanding that there's a unique energy signature to Aries, right? To the Aries zodiac sign. That's something that really coincides with a lot of things, but in terms of the spiritual and the unseen world and your particular relationship or potential relationship with the spiritual in the world of the unseen in general, it's not quite laid out, right? You don't hear that as much, but there was a guy, particularly, this is going kind of into the second portion of this. There's a guy called Russell Targ, right? And he's I want to say he was one of the, what is it called when you are able to visualize, or you're basically able to find other places, or find things and psychically see them or something like that. I forget exactly what it's called. Remote viewing, that's exactly what it is. All right, but the Russell Targ really, crazy enough, he pioneered is an Aries word, but he pioneered the remote viewing field in a lot of cases. And this makes me think about that because I looked up his chart and he had that he's an Aries. That's what made me think of, and the idea of his particular chart. He had the sun in the 12th house, which is, it talks about kind of and the 12th house is definitely a spiritual realm, so it totally makes sense in terms of that particular energy. And as I'm talking more, and in terms of people, the Aries dynamic, people who may have seen, who come across this particular video, some of you, in terms of just in general, you need to understand something. There's a very real, like I said, a very real energy pattern to Aries and pioneering in that field, right? What Russell did, he broke through a lot of things with that, right? In terms of a lot of stigma with the idea of psychically being able to provide 3D labeled value to the world, I'll say, right? When it comes down to this video, when it comes down to you coming and being called to this video for whatever reason, you need to understand that this idea of the Renaissance, the understanding, the reason why this Renaissance exists is because that spirit is very much needed. It's required. You have a very brave and literally pioneering spirit about you, and that's what we need today. That's why this particular, that's the purpose of these readings. The purpose of these readings is to really understand and really shed light on the idea and the concept of a Renaissance in general. And that's going to really be up to when it comes down to you to actually see and understand that this spiritual community, this idea, it needs to have links and have a lot of times, I'll say, even groundedness to the 3D realm, right? Because a lot of people, I mean, it just comes out like, basically, if you talk and you hear someone talk for a while, it's just like, hey, well, that sounds great, and a lot of times they can't quite connect that to the 3D realm in a way that's actually that's more tangible, we'll say, for the rest of the world. With this particular idea of you being called to this video in general, I think you need to understand something. There's a very real need for you to, we'll say, come out of the spiritual closet, right? In terms of understanding that there is a dynamic of spirituality that you need to hold and possess, and that's very important. And you need to help make the way and make the way forward. And this is something that is particularly when it comes down to the bravery, when it comes down to, whatever. Are there things that do you are we claiming that the spiritual community knows everything? Absolutely not. I think there's plenty to gain from both the 3D realm, the more societal accepted institutions, but there is tremendous value in linking that to the spiritual world, and we need to start doing that. And uh, in any case, you need to realize that there is a very real understanding that you need to get, uh, that you need to give through your presence, through your pioneering in general. Also, there is the idea of we're just going back to this particular, just the Aries energy signature in general, right? And this is what you need to understand, that idea of moving, the understanding here, because there could be overlap for people who have other. There's always some kind of like mixture of energies. Usually, there's never like somebody with all of their placements in one sign, but or rarely. Maybe that could have happened before, but the idea here is people may see you and understand that, hey, this isn't someone who is able to simply be confronted with directly, right? And that is something that you may need to watch out for at some point in terms of how people go about uh, interacting with you. People who don't necessarily like you, right? The 12th house, um, just kind of the 12th house dynamic, like hidden enemies and things like that, and people who decide to not go forward and not confront you face to face, but decide that they'd fare well in the shadows. And you need to figure out how to really deal with that, because uh, this idea, for instance, there is something particularly I'm thinking about, like Kanye when he came out and he started like talking. This is before the before the new thing with Kanye, but this is when basically he came out and he was saying like, hey man, they're like trying to call me crazy and stuff like that. And you need to understand something. The worst thing that you can possibly do to someone from the shadows is to get them to essentially act crazy, right? That's the idea here. And some of you may need to understand that and really have to carry that forward, right? That we'll call it the 12th house burden, and understand that in general in terms of how you can carry that forward and still maintain frame. And in any case, that's going to be the end of this reading, and I hope you guys have a good week.